There are plenty of great teams in college basketball this season, but only 5 of them can actually win the national championship. And I'm leaving out some serious programs. Teams people are calling contenders. Because when you really break it down, these teams just don't have what it takes to win in March. There are only 5 teams I trust to win 6 straight. These teams aren't ranked. This is one tier. We're looking for teams with guard play, depth, coaching, late game shot creation, and most importantly, defense. We have to start with the Arizona Wildcats, who have not been to the Final Four since 2001. Now, whether you're a fan of them or not, you have to admit that they are one of the best teams in the sport, and they were widely regarded as the top team in the sport for the better part of 2 months. Now, they were number 1 in KenPom at one point, number 1 in the net rankings, and obviously number 1 in the AP poll. They got off to a 23-0 start, and the head of the snake for them is senior point guard Jaden Bradley. Now, we talked about late game shot creation. Well, this guy's one of the best closers in the country, and let me tell you, he's not a one-man show. Freshman Braden Burries is their leading scorer, and he's a projected lottery pick in this NBA draft. Now, if they don't want to go to one of them two, they have guys in the trenches, and let's just call them guys. Koa Pete, Tobe Awaka, Mo Krivas, and then on the wing, don't get me started on Anthony Del Orso, and one of the most underrated players in the country, Ivan Karchenkov. Now, if you don't know that name, you'll learn it in March. And Arizona fans, appreciate him while he's in Tucson, because I'm not so sure he'll be in Tucson next year. I think he might be playing on an NBA court. Now, we talked about late game shot creation. We talked about Braden Burries and Jaden Bradley for the guard play. Late game shot creation, coaching, Tommy Lloyd. Year 5 at Arizona. He's already been to 3 Sweet 16s. Now, has he been able to get over the hump? No. Is this the year he's going to get over the hump? Yes, okay? And then depth. They play an 8-man rotation, and all 8 guys are solid. Their weakest link, quote-unquote, is Dwayne Aristode, who's currently recovering from an illness, but he's led their team in scoring 1 game this season. So all 8 guys can play. Tommy Lloyd has a great system in place, and Arizona 100% has what it takes to cut down the nets in March. Now, if you ask anyone west of North Carolina and east of Arizona, they're going to say the Michigan Wolverines are the best team in the country, and I'm not going to argue with them. This team started the year a little slow, and then they went into one of the greatest stretches college basketball has ever seen. Not only were they beating everyone by 30 and 40 points, they were beating good teams by 30 and 40 points. Now, Michigan's led by Yaxel Endeborg, the UAB transfer, 23 years old, and he's a projected top 20 overall pick. They also have Merez Johnson and Adai Mara in the front court, but we don't want to talk about them. We mentioned to win in March, you need great guard play, so let's talk about their guards. Elliot Cadeau, the UNC transfer. Now, it didn't work out at UNC. He wasn't the greatest three-point shooter. He lost some of his confidence. Well, that confidence is back. He's now a 40% three-point shooter. Now, let's talk about their bench. LJ Kaysen, probably the best backup point guard in the whole entire country. And then McDonald's All-American Trey McKinney is just sitting there on the bench, playing 20 minutes a game, giving you 10 to 12 points. Well, he can explode at any moment in March. So although this Michigan team isn't built in their backcourt, they are more than capable, with guys like Namari Burnett and Roddy Gale also lurking in the shadows. Now, Dusty May has built what it looks like to be a juggernaut. Now, are they going to be able to win 6 straight games in March? Only time will tell. Are they in position to be one of the top 3 or 4 teams to cut down the nets in March? 100%. If you're serious about March Madness content, hit that subscribe button. We're currently on the road to 500 subscribers, and I'm breaking down every major matchup, and I'm dropping full bracket content on Selection Sunday. Now get back to the video. Now the third team we have to talk about is a team that I haven't been too kind to this year, and I thought they were the most overrated team in the country. Well, after their recent game, I have to give credit where credit's due. The UConn Huskies, led by who else? Dan Hurley. Now, that is a big reason why I have to give them the credit that they deserve. And I have to say that they are one of these 5 contenders capable of cutting down the nets in March. Now, yes, we talk about guard play, we talk about depth, but another of the 5 keys we talked about was coaching. And Dan Hurley is the best coach in the game. We saw it in 2023. We saw it in 2024. Now, are they going to run through March Madness like they did in those years? I don't think so. Are they still more than capable of cutting down the nets? 100%, and it starts in their backcourt. Now, obviously, Silas Demery is the engine that makes this offense run, the Georgia transfer. Then we have Solo Ball, the 3-year UConn player who has not had the most efficient year, but he's still one of the most lethal players in the Big East. And then projected lottery pick Braylon Mullins, who can heat up at any moment. Now, it's not just them. They obviously have fifth-year Alex Caravan, who has that championship pedigree, and then a walking double-double in Terrace Reed. Now, we talk about depth. They also have Jalen Stewart, Jaden Reed, Eric Ryba off the bench. This team has everything you could ask for. If they can hit some threes, if they can give a decent offensive effort for 6 straight games, I think this team is more than capable of winning March Madness. Now, I feel like it'd be a disservice not to talk about the Florida Gators. Now, we're talking about the reigning national champions here, and when we talk about our keys to winning in March, we started with guard play. Now, yes, they lost Walter Clayton, they lost Elijah Martin, they brought in Xavier Lee, they brought in Boogie Fland, and Urban Kloppjar took a big step up. Now, are they Walter Clayton? Are they Will Richard? Are they Elijah Martin? No. Are they more capable of hitting big shots down the stretch? That late game shot creation that we were talking about? Yes. Can Xavier Lee step back and hit a big three? Yeah. Can Boogie Fland get 2 feet in the paint, draw a foul, or kick it out to Kloppjar to hit a big three? Yeah. And then we talk about Thomas Hall, who can score at all 3 levels. Now, don't get me started on the defense. Are they the best defensive team in the country? Not by any means. Do they have one of the best front courts college basketball has ever seen in Ruben Chenyolu, Alex Condon, and Thomas Hall? Yeah. So they have the size, they have the defense, they have the experience, the continuity. The only issue with them is their depth, and it's not like they don't have guys. Isaiah Brown off the bench, Urban Kloppjar off the bench, Micah Hanglon off the bench. They have guys, and they trust their top 5 guys, their top 5 starters. So they have nothing. The only thing that is throwing people off is their bad start to the year. If 2 of those early games in the early part of the year went in their favor, they'd be a 1 seed right now. And people would be talking about them as maybe the best team in the country. So get your Florida futures in now, because this team is more than capable of winning it all in March. Last but not least, we have to talk about the Duke Blue Devils. Now, I think they surprised a lot of people last week when they beat Michigan in Washington, D.C. They definitely surprised me. Okay? Because the big thing I've been worried about with them all year, it's not Cam Boozer, it's not Patrick Dungba, it's their guard play. Now, I know Isaiah Evans is good. He had a good freshman year. Volume shooter, he's a good player. Caleb Foster, I'm not going to lie, I did not think he was the answer at point guard. Well, I was wrong, okay? He'll defend, he'll hit open shots, he'll facilitate, he'll get the ball down low to Cam Boozer. He's a gamer. Caden Boozer off the bench. Another one. I didn't think he was going to be the answer. I didn't think he'd be that good. I thought he was Cam Boozer's brother that, was kind of along for the ride. Well, no. Even against Michigan, when he scored 0 points, he was impactful. You got Nick Jimenez off the bench. You got Dame Sarr, who's going to get drafted, projecting as a great 3-and-D player in the NBA, who's going to have raw, untapped potential. Now, John Shire, look, it's hard to follow up what Coach K did all those years. Well, John Shire brought Duke to the Final Four last year, and he probably should have brought them to the national championship. Now, a lot of people are worried because they say, if a team with Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple and Tyrese Proctor, if they can't make it to the championship, why is this team going to? Well, college basketball is an interesting sport. Now, you see a lot of craziness, and it's called March Madness for a reason. Now, a team like Duke, they might have the highest floor in all of college basketball. If you want to bet on a team to make it to the Final Four, I think your best possible bet is this Duke Blue Devils team. Because they've shown time in and time out that they're as solid as they come, and that they have what it takes to cut down the nets in Indianapolis. If I left your team out, make your case below. Who can actually win 6 straight games in March? I'm Spencer Ostroff. This is CBB Today, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.